right, everybody, welcome back for another recap review show here with your good folks at Big O Belt Media for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, where tonight or today, depending on when you're watching this, we're talking about episode 6 from season 4, The Price of Fame. This is written by Kevin Fox and directed by Monica Raymond. Well. It's a lot to talk about tonight. And as always, we go through the order of events and kind of break everything down. But I want to start off with something. And we talked a lot about our predictions for this episode. But I want to ask you, did you think that Famous Death was going to touch every single one of the Thomas's family members? And beyond that, did you think the spread of his death was going to be this impactful?
I would say yeah to the people that it impacted, really, because it was really Lou and the kids that felt the impact more than anything else. Like Marvin thing is, I don't want this to happen to my daughter, and Rock kind of the same thing with Kanan. But the impact of it was just felt really by Lou, Juke, and Kanan. And that's the ones I expected it to be felt by the most. I mean, the bar owner, she don't really count because, I mean, she's a character that you knew it would mean something because she believed in Famous.
Yeah.
But it's just from the other main character perspective, it hit everybody who I thought it would hit. Because I knew it would hit Lou hard. As I said before, the end of our last episode, I said once Luke finds out, it's going to hit him extremely hard that Famous wasn't there, and that was expected. So anyway, yeah, I expected it to hit everybody the way it did because of the impact of that type of loss onto the other kids.
Yeah. Really quickly too, Kanan's shoe game this episode was insane. I peeped him with the great fives. He had the hair sevens. Not that I'm about to sit here and find how accurate it was during these years and whatnot, which I'm sure you all are going to dive deep into that. But he had some top tier Jordans on. That's one thing I will say. I was definitely like, all right. And the grapes are coming out. I still have the grapes, but God, those are one of my favorites. But yeah, he had the heat this episode.
From what, 2016 they came out last?
Yeah.
I think I've worn my pair maybe 5 times total. Yeah. Since they dropped about 9 years ago.
Actually, I just saw that say 2005, and I know it ain't been that. No, that can't be right.
Nah, they dropped 2016. Right. I want to say it was the last time the grapes came out was 2016.
Let's see. Looks like there's one that came out. I don't know. This is never.
Unless the pair I got are older than what I think they are. I know it ain't 2005.
Yeah, this is 2000. There's a 2020. There's a June 21st release date. Anyway, let's get back on the show because y'all don't care. Yeah. So we start off the episode with Famous them having a memorial at the bar, and the commentary around Kanan is interesting. Obviously, commentary and narrated by 50 Cent. But he says something, I paraphrase here, talk about when you lose so much of yourself, you're basically gone for good and there's nothing else going to be able to bring you back. I don't know if this is more, this can be a bigger indication of this is without a doubt the turning of the page to who Kanan is going to be going forward. And we saw that. What's interesting is even in this shot of everybody at the bar, the entire family is there, and they passed around 4 shots. There's 3 adults, so it was interesting that Juke got one. I guess they live by.
Juke is the 18-year-old rule.
I tell you what she is she's old enough to serve, so she damn sure old enough to have a drink.
Old enough to get a drink. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also really quickly for anybody, the grapes came out 90, 2006, 2013, and 2025. So there's that.
Damn. So the pair I got are 12 years old. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I bought Man, them souls may crumble if I wear them Jones.
You know it. So you might as well try them out before the 2025 come out. See what you need to do. But Lou passes on the drink. Juke didn't. And then we get to see Famous Mom there. And everybody's asking the same question: who knows what? And as always, nobody knows anything. Kanan wants his payback. Lou makes his declaration that he also will make an exception to go out there and get blood on his hands for Famous. Yeah. But then Jessica returns, and I figured she would. But it was interesting that the two of them got to consoling one another. I mean, they both shed tears. So I think, you know, much like we'll talk about towards the end of this episode, there still was a lot of feelings for one another. Yeah. Maybe you can consider they're each other's safe space, but nonetheless, you could imagine that the hurt that Jessica has just only motivated Lou even more. Although we didn't see that. So I am definitely sitting here with a rain check on that one, because I definitely think there will be something to make of this beyond it. Maybe while Jessica was here, it was like, okay, you know, I'll play it easy, but now she gone, you know, what happens, you know, we'll see. But it was interesting too when Kanan was talking to Juke and all of them. They asked, like, you know, what did you know from Jessica? You know, Jessica's been talking to the cops trying to figure out what's going on, and he said, well, she's not telling me anything because she knows what I would do. We get a Rock and Famous Mom together. So everyone's just there, and they really did put this scene together very nice. That we see a lot of love for Famous, but we see everybody's moving to try to figure out whatever they can. And I do love the commentary about from the bar owner, how the streets never lose. Well, Marvin said the streets never lose, and she says, but we do. And Marvin is laser focused on Juke and everything she does in there, because he knows this is a very silent way of her turning the page. I got to say, this may be, in terms of like how we break things down and how we love the development of these characters, this may be my favorite opening. This may be like my favorite. If this was a new season, this would be literally the best opening ever. Period. If Famous Death was the cliffhanger at the end of a season, this opening was just that impactful, because again, we know where these characters end, but to see Kanan go about his sort of rage in one way and Juke kind of going about it another way, the parallels between, I mean, they're going the same way, but sort of the differences, but yet the parallels in how they're doing this is really fascinating to me. What did you think about this entire scene? And overall, what's sort of your sort of thoughts about where these characters and others are going?
Well, first start with the scene. I think this was you needed to start off this episode in a somber way, just to pay tribute to the character more than anything else. But then it's interesting to see everyone's mind move after you get past the somber part of it. And that is the most important part of this opening here, along with Marvin delivering, I think, the best line this season. And he say, I need to keep them close, but not so close that I want to make sure I get this right. Keep them close, but not so close that I end up rubbing off on them. In a way, I'm short-terming it there. Basically him saying that I need to stay close enough where what I believe is my bad side doesn't poison her. And just his look at you when he's talking that way, to me, was the best part of this scene. Yeah, because it shows his concern, his worry, but also it foreshadows just how much Juke is like him, and he notices it. And that is his fear in this scene here. And I think that's the most powerful part, because everyone else is mourning, but with Marvin, it's not mourning, it's concern. Yeah. Of what will this do? And he's piling it on here in his mind between what happened prior, what you already have done, and right now with her losing someone he knows she was close with. Yeah. I think he reverts back to whatever pushed him over the edge. He's terrified this is going to push her over the edge.
Yeah.
As just pertains to everyone else in the scene, you just get to see the pieces move here on the board. That's all this is about here. How is everyone going to respond to this? Kanan responds the typical way. He's angry and he wants just to find somebody. Lou, even though he's talking about like wanting to get revenge for Famous, you could tell it's sadness more than anything from Lou. And that sadness is what's going to break him, or that's what you perceive is going to break him as this episode move forward. So again, that's what I like the best out of this scene. It's just this is a more mental type of scene here between Marvin, Juke, and Lou. Rock is Rock. Rock is as solid as humanly possible here. She just understands what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Kanan gives you the typical anger response, but all the rest of the other responses are what you tune into that scene to see. And it's a great scene to watch.
Yeah.
What's your other question? I know you asked me what the people. I think I missed part of your questions.
I feel like you answered them. But it's okay because there's so much more to talk about, and I'm sure we're going to touch on a little bit of this opening and cause and effects of it beyond. Yeah. But we get to Phil Russo's operation where he's there. You see the truck. It's a garbage disposal business, I believe, right?
Just like Tony Soprano.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, exactly. Yep. So he rolls back, but Unique is there waiting for him, and this was nothing more than Unique saying, "I have everything in place. The things you asked me to do, I'm here to report back to say I did what I needed to do." Even to the point of cutting Rock off from her connect. And he just needs New Jersey to have his back. He needs the money, he needs the muscle. And Phil, much like all of us, was thinking, well, what do I get out of this? And we understand the rules of the families, and if you don't by now, look it up. At this rate, hopefully you just do. But listen, he says, listen, I know what you're trying to do. Take Rock down, take Stefano down. I can't. If I take Stefano down, it's going to be real bad for me. However, we can soften him up. There doesn't need to be anybody's dropping. You have to be smart here. And it's funny because he's trying to get perspective and approach, but he's also egging him on too, calling Rock his girlfriend and all that other stuff. But he says, listen, go talk to my guy Akbar. He got what you need. I don't think there's anything to make of this scene besides just the events that happen, and then we moving on there.
It's a setup for everything else type of scene. There's nothing utterly important was said here.
Yeah. So last week we had a comment that mentioned about what Marvin's response would be to Rock once asked about what Marvin did to Terry as they went to go see David. And David is he's high as shit.
Down to
and he's out here. I love they called him she called them the coked up Martha Stewart, or did you call him the Chinese? Either way, Martha Stewart reference.
Martha Stewart.
Yeah. And on the drugs, I get it. But this was Rock that's saying listen, because you did what you did to Terry, now we got to deal with this dude. And he ain't somebody I can just bring around. I mean, just look how he's acting. But I need these trucks. Therefore, this now becomes your responsibility. You need to keep him in line in order to do what we have to do. I think by the question of last week, it was about how Marvin's response was going to be to Rock. No response is the answer, but the consequences of his actions are here. Now, the question now becomes with him playing essentially babysitter. Yes, exactly. I was going to use a different word, but babysitter is definitely the word here. Chaperone was where I was going to go. What do you make of this? We know Marvin has a short temper and he's going to totally keep this dude on a short leash. So how many episodes did we give David?
Well, here's the problem. As Rock pinpointed, you can't kill him. You solved one problem, but you created a bigger one. And that is you killed Terry and now you've just made David untouchable. Because if you kill him, the whole business is over at that point. Because there's no one else operating trucks. Like, you can't do it. Yeah. And I think in a way it's coming across that David knows this.
Nah, he's just high. He's just high, bro.
But, I mean, if you think about it, he's only getting high in response. He's only getting high because he feels no threat. It ain't like Terry, and you could tell it's not like Terry because the moment Marvin grabbed him, his first thing was, "Oh, I didn't know you was this strong." Like, it's no fear, and just being high on its own wouldn't do that to you, because high only boosts what you already feel and believe at times. So he already knows you can't kill me. Under no circumstances can you kill me. That's why he's constantly asking them to help him paint. And what color should he pick? And as Rock said, asking about his prom that he wants to throw. Like, David knows that he's untouchable. So it creates an issue with Marvin is, how the heck do you deal with somebody that you know knows you can't kill him? What's the threat? And he's coked up. What's really the threat? Rehab? You're gonna have to threat him with something grand that's gonna make him want to pull back. And that's what's going to be interesting here. As Rock said, you caused the problem. It's up now, it's on you. You got to fix this.
I see that different though. I will say that different. I don't say that like he doesn't see it as a threat, but I think he's just high because like now he's come in as he's running things and with that, you know, it's like somebody who gets their first dollar, you know, but like, you know, now he doesn't understand the responsibilities at hand. He just knows he's the top guy and he's just handling it very irresponsible, and he's getting high with a business partner that helps bring in the money. So across the board, I think we can agree to disagree, or maybe just agree to say like he's just irresponsible as hell. And Marvin has set this little kid up, not only to fail, but damn sure as a liability for him and what Rock got going on. I mean, so
that's what makes him unkillable.
Yeah,
can't do nothing to him. In the end,
yeah,
you can be as mad as you want to. You can't do anything to him.
Yeah,
and David is the type that because.
I'm sorry, really quickly. The real reason I think they can't do anything to him is because everybody else is aware of what's happening across the board. You kill him, then you can forget anybody working with you of any type of Asian descent. Considering what happened with Terry, word got round and round with that, with the two others that got killed by Unique. You know, that had people worried. So like if David gets got, I think without a doubt, everybody's like, that's it. Way too many things close to you all are dying.
Think about it this way. If David dies, who controls the trucks? They don't.
Yeah, they don't. And whoever steps in 100% is not working with them.
Yep. That's what makes him unkillable.
Yeah.
And I think Rock knows that's what's pissing Rock off more than anything. Is you killed the wrong brother. Like we know that they were able to control Terry because Terry had fear of what would happen if his wife found out what he did. David tends not to have that connection to anybody, and I think that's Rock's fear.
You think anybody gonna kill him?
Oh no, absolutely.
Okay,
not.
So he makes it out this season.
The only person that would kill him would be like a Unique.
You don't think Rock kills him? You don't think Rock kills him by mistake?
Nope. Rock will probably protect him at all costs because if those trucks are gone, her business is dead. Her business only survives because of those trucks. Because those trucks have to deliver to the actual places that need to go to sell the drugs. Like, it's different than killing a shop owner versus killing the person who's actually moving the product. He can't go nowhere. But that's why Rock was so patient with him. I
see you need paying him a visit. I think
he would try, but well, let's just say in a couple of weeks, that won't be an issue anymore.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Because that character David is just the comedic relief, in all honesty, right? So OC now, the crew, can't anyone know what they hear? And he's not talking about anything about the product. He wants to know about Famous. And once again, nobody heard shit. But Kanan said, put it out there. I'm paying good money for anybody who hears about him. But along with that, and again, throughout this scene and conversation, there was a lot of contradictions coming from OC. And in fact, before Kanan said, I was thinking it too, like, wait a minute, we went from we don't have product, but wait, we got products. So like, what's the deal? It's interesting with these inconsistencies and then tripping up on words that Kanan points it out, but he also didn't tighten up security here. He let it go because his mind is focused on finding out who did it to Famous. So like he's letting the business slip. And I will give OC his props besides his own personal interest that you still got to run the business even though you got personal things going on. And if the money not coming in, then what, Yep. So yeah, like you said, listen, put the word out there, give me a name, give me somebody, and you'll get paid. Lou went to AA, was talking about Famous and struggling with it. Juke was getting ready to get a bowl of Lucky Charms. But then she started looking at Famous in the obituary, and we sort of saw a light in the back of her head cut on. And she goes look for her father's gun under the couch, and at this point didn't quite know what she was about to do.
It got to be sad because she's eating Lucky Charms. Those are horrible.
I don't think they were really Lucky Charms, but yeah, you get the vibes.
I mean, in the 90s, if you eat Lucky Charms, if you ain't eating Fruity Pebbles or like Waffle Crisp or like Golden Grams, I would be sad too if I had to eat Lucky Charms.
Oh man. So what we got next? So then after that, Kanan, we see him stashing money again at this little storage location. But lo and behold, on his way out, OC is scooping him, peeping him out. And definitely doesn't look like anything out of curiosity, but looks very objective, and which we know from last episode he was giving intel to Unique. So, or is he just because the money isn't coming in, he's trying to figure out how he get money for himself? So I don't know.
No, that little Oompa Loompa is plotting, Joe. You gotta be. Yeah, I told you can't trust short people.
Oh my goodness.
not under 5'3". Can't trust him.
Yeah, but OC spying on Kanan as he drops the money off in the storage unit, and we'll see how long it is before his money goes missing.
I ain't the only one who was wondering how was he driving the car. I know I can't be. I know I can't be the only one wondering how he's driving the car.
Yeah. So next scene, Detective Garcia goes to see Famous's mother, and we find out that Famous did not die from an overdose. It was not drug related. In fact, he was tortured before he was murdered, and then his body was stashed there. He was brutalized, and before this, he admitted that he was assisting with the NYPD, and he puts the pressure on Famous's mother and says, like, you need to help me. But the mom is standing 10 toes down. She's not budging for her baby, the legacy of her baby. She orders this man to get out multiple times because that's just what it's going to be. What did you think about this sort of revelation in Famous's death? And if it ain't a drug-related thing, who tortured and brutalized him and left him to dead? Who is capable of such?
I'll say two things here without getting way too far into the episode, because to answer the question the way I really want to, I would have to jump all the way to the end of this episode. But I'll say this. I did not believe at this point that detective one bit so. And my antennas went up when he played that angle with Famous's mother. Because we know that's not true. Because his response the entire time to her asking about Famous wasn't that. So when she pinpointed, you're telling me this now, but I have been coming to you all for weeks, months asking about him, and now you're interested in him. I don't believe you at all. So that to itself is just her reality. Is why would she believe him in any way, shape, form, or fashion? So by the time you get and jump to the end of this episode, I think you get the answer to why she didn't believe him. But as an audience member, I couldn't believe him the moment he said Famous was working with the police, because that's not in Famous's character. He's literally attempting to play the mom against Famous's legacy when she knows her son better than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's just figure this. Let's just put it out there. The cops are absolutely using Famous for some measure of self-motive. And what does the feds care most right now? It ain't Kanan. It ain't even Rock. I can only imagine that there's two things that they can want here. They want to know who killed Detective Burke or Detective Howard. And don't forget that that's what Garcia's that's what Garcia was told to do.
I got a bigger question for you, and it's a good one. And again, I'm just gonna have to jump ahead, because if I don't jump ahead here, it's gonna drive me fucking insane, because I can't talk about this without jumping ahead. So when the kids bring up what they heard, and they heard that's how Famous died was with cops. You know, the two cops that popped into your head immediately are the cops that were harassing Rock, and they were already dirty. What happened if Famous found out about them being dirty, which he would have found out that they were dirty? And is that true that that's the reason he died? It's because but then that brings up a bigger question. Who were those cops working for again?
Were they not working? Well, they wasn't working for Detective Batiste.
No. I mean, who were they work when they were harassing Rock? They were harassing her, but they were working for somebody. I want to say, was it Quan or was it Stefano? They were working for one. And I cannot remember who those cops was working for, but they're clearly dirty cops. That much known that they're dirty. And maybe Famous got tangled up in that, and that's the reason he died. Because again, we've always tried to pinpoint who would gain from killing Famous. And at this point, we could say it's not no one from the Thomas side.
Yeah. 100%.
So if it's not, who else is there left?
Yeah, and the police department, the NYPD doesn't gain anything from this as well, too, because they already have enough heat on them. And if they killed somebody to figure out who killed the cops, that doesn't even make
dirty
any
cops
sense.
would. If two dirty cops are connected with something else, and it's one person that can connect them to their dirty doings, you do get rid of him.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, but it's good to see that the storyline will be handled with a proper bow, it seems like. But anyway, Detective Garcia was told to get the fuck out of here, and he tried his best to try to get something out of her. But Lou and Mama Joyce, and Lou's just asking how she's feeling, and it did take him a minute to even enter the room. But she talks about asking Marvin to, do you know what, and says he's a coward. But then also said what we already knew is that, when it comes down to three of them, Lou is the sensitive one. She also used the word fragile. Rock is hard. And then I guess that means that Marvin's in the middle. That's why she asked him. But in terms of her dying, she's angry about it. And she makes a compelling statement of saying, in the sense of like, why do I get to die and everybody gets to keep living? But if she is going to die, she wants to do it her own way. She wants to be put to rest. And Lou, although being sort of pushed by by stating that, he's scared, he's like, well, I'm not scared what it does to you, because we all know what it does to her. It's going to do to me. And that's exactly what we were talking about with Marvin in last episode.
Yeah. These are the
we see Unique showing back up to the carpet shop. Yeah, 100%. So Unique showing back up to his infamous carpet shop that we haven't seen. Carpet, fabric, and all sorts of tailoring going on in there. Again, if you can measure it, you can buy it. Oh, no Diddy. But whoa, now
I know somebody heard that and was like, well, yo, pause.
Hold on now. Like and subscribe. Help us out before the channel get taken down. But this man Unique is getting back cleaned up. It was not on my bingo card that we would get the Unique of old. He is back with the jewelry. He got the fade. Yeah, why not? I mean, listen, this show has a fantastic makeup team, costume team, really bringing in that aesthetic of the early 90s. So not seeing Unique being one of the poster childs for that was definitely like this sucks. But yeah, now he's back. So cool.
Waiting for you to say it, and you still didn't say it.
What?
Niggas gonna nig. If they don't do nothing else.
Hey, that is what I was going to say later, because when he shows up with the mink, I was like, oh, well, I guess the low keyness is out of there now, huh? It was just one whole day ago where he was just talking to somebody and they was just like, yeah, I'm that's why I'm in Jersey, because I can still be low key out here.
Nigga, you are walking around with
yeah.
It reminded me. I recently just rewatched I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
Yeah.
And when dude died, he's like, he died to OG over gold. That's what that reminded me of. He's like, dog, who wouldn't recognize you? Yeah, that nigga Unique was here. You sure?
Yeah.
I know how he looks. Fur coat and all.
Yep. So Kanan and his crew, his people running his drugs. The word on the street is that Freddie crew is what everybody's saying who's behind Famous. Now, this is interesting because Freddie crew pleads the fifth, says it's the Fed, but his crew is saying Freddie did it. I mean, this is how rumors are. And suspicion could be people passing around this fact. So I'm not mad at this, but I do wonder, do you think this makes him trust his crew less because this is essentially bad intel?
Absolutely. Eventually it will get back to that little Oompa Loompa. This is clearly a lie. And that's why I love the way they played out that scene at the end when we get to what I do believe is the truth of the issue. And we just need to find out how everything is uncovered from there. But I think any information where it comes back to Kanan and he believes is false, he's going to jump down on his crew.
Yeah.
Because why are you feeding me false information? Because the question is, where did you get this information from?
For real. And you already been kind of inconsistent about, do we have product, do we not have product? So yeah, definitely right about OC. Not looking good for my guy.
Lollipop Guild.
Be real in the booth. And I have to be honest, he's spitting bars. Even the engineer saying it sound good, but Lou's not feeling it. So nobody's on the same page right now. And just to kind of put a knot on this and the reason why he's not feeling it, because his mind's not there. So he can't even recognize the talent and how B really has stepped up considering everything's going through. That is absolutely fair. Even to the point later where he just tries to listen to music that he knows is good and he says it's just not working. So this is how he's processing. And that's fair.
Street music when you just lost somebody to the streets.
Yeah.
Like it's just not hitting the same.
Right. All right, so Rock, Stefano, and Hafiz. Honestly, I don't know if there's anything to make here besides they made plans. Hafiz accepts the terms, so they're in business.
And he can move.
So Marvin's back home. The nurse is there.
That's the key part.
Yes.
2 weeks he can make full faculties happen. That's crazy.
Yeah. Must be Bezos or something, because
gotta be about to run that shit like an Amazon warehouse, Joe.
It's the only establishment I've ever seen get built in like a month. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, them other Jones, some of them Jones overseas and certain other countries that child labor laws don't exist. Build them Jones real quick too. That man building Nike sweatshops for drugs, Joe.
Yeah. So Marvin back home, the nurse is there, and he wants to know how she's doing. The response is she's tough. What's her mood? And once again, tough. Says, I'll come back another time, and just don't let her know I came by. And Marvin had this look of looking down the hallway. What do you think that look was?
It's weird. It was a tad bit dread and tad bit regret. He let his mom down. And it sounds odd, but he let her down for his own safety. But still, he let her down. And I think that really bothers him.
Yep.
But it also bothers him that he would be the one she would ask to do it. So that's the dread part. And just the regret that now, because of his decision, like he knows what she's going through. And I think that's weighing down on him.
Yep, agreed. And I even go as far as saying, like, maybe he looked there thinking, like, if I don't go now, this might be the last time I've ever see her. So I think he's going to have that kind of bear on his chest.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. So we got Marvin couldn't do it. Lou couldn't do it. It's going to be insane that Rock.
She's going to ask Rock. She already said it. She said Rock too hard.
But Rock will be the one that does. Rock will be the one to set her free. You heard it here first. She absolutely will.
I think Rock will be the one that will have her suffer.
That's what somebody said last week in the comments.
Yep, I'm agreeing with that now. The moment she said, your sister's too hard, that means Rock will be looking at you like, nah, nigga, you fine. Push through.
Yeah. Nah, she's gonna set her free.
It's gonna be one of the kids that's gonna have to do it.
It's gonna be Rock. Rock's gonna be the one to set her free. They're gonna close the story arc of the mother-daughter dysfunction, and they're gonna give forgiveness to one another. She's gonna set her free. And yes, she'll move on beyond that. Now, and trust me, when she sets her free, she's going to go in terms of ejecting it out of that syringe, or she's gonna push that bitch down with like three thumbs. Yeah. Anyway, what do we have next? Oh, so Kanan is looking at Freddie and the crew. He got his strap, but it's four of them, and one of them got a gun, so he got to go back and rethink things. Then we get a scene of Juke out here doing some Max Payne training, getting ready. Yeah, or Punisher, something like, or ballerina, like she out there doing something. But she's good. And listen, I love it because we always talk about people and how they just became a good shot. I think just in case you forgot, she was in the military. She had to train.
Was a good shot there.
Don't fuck around with Juke. Juke is about that life. More than I expected, because we'll talk about that in a minute.
Training for 8 days and became John Wick.
Yeah, that's right. that is right. Juke Wick. But so Rock goes to see Kanan, but she's not there. Crystal's there. And she gives Crystal advice and said, like, you care about my son, keep a track on him. I know he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and whatnot, but you gotta keep tracking him. But then let him know I got some good news for him, which is obviously her getting that deal done, which means the prices are coming down, the tariffs have been lifted. And just have him call me when you can. Now, I think Rock is getting fond of her. Rock doesn't even bust her balls anymore. So is it safe to say that Crystal is in there?
Absolutely not. This is Rock just not understanding that, I got to play nice with this little girl because she got my son's nose wide open. Every mama or every parent who has a child, particularly a boy, when they first fall in love with that first piece, you got to be nice to that, because if not, he will turn completely against everybody for something. For that. And Rock like, I'm not going through that. I'm not even fighting this right now. You here with him, just take care of him if you care about him. That's it. Rock playing it just like a black mother would. All black mothers love their son's girlfriend until they break up, and then you get the truth. Like, I never like that bitch. No way.
Oh man, so Lou at the bar now, and looks like Lou is playing with the fact that he wants to drink, but Jessica shows up, and Jessica shows up because Lou was in a vulnerable situation, and she was the one to call, as he said. I didn't know nobody else to call. So let's just make something clear. Amani was nothing but a fuck. He's not fucking with her like that, but Jessica's his safe space, and she rushed there. Talk about she had somebody run through red lights to get there. But you know, even with that, he wanted the drink from away from him. Talked about how much he talked about loving Famous, said Famous loved your family as well too, and then they roll out. We already know what time that was. But anyway, Unique is back, full-fledged Unique that we know him to be. He got the fur on. He not playing. He goes to see Akbar. Niggas going nig, and he just needs to know that he wants him to know he needs soldiers. I already talked about him talking about like, you know, he's still trying to be low key about it, and he doesn't have all the folks needed. So that's why he's going to see him. They're going to make something happen.
As my man asks, he said, why you over here? Queens run out of niggas?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all spoken for, as he said. But yeah, Kanan is back home. Tries to sneak in. Crystal was there, said your mom came by, but he just want to go to bed. Juke returns home. Marvin sitting on the couch waiting for her. Marvin is so fun. London is so funny, man. He says like, yeah, I sat on the couch. I knew something didn't feel right. Talk about his gun and the weight from it's just the most ridiculous thing. But he knows.
You have certain things in certain places, you expect the weight to hit you in a certain way. And when it don't, something right.
Yeah. But we get another circling the block on the question of like what's messing with your head, and Juke is now honest and says everything. Being back home, the army, Famous, and there's a lot that goes on here. So I'm gonna paraphrase some of the big things that stood out to me, and that was Juke mentioning that I am you to Marvin. And then when he talked about like, you know, he doesn't want her to get to that point, she says I'm already there. And why Marvin tries to mention about not ending up to be me, don't end up being like me, because the only thing I'm good for is bad, which was that kind of hit too. But I just love for everything that we know these characters to be. It's really cool to see him get to this point. Even Marvin having a moment to say he's starting to sound like Lou, excuse me.
Lou.
But he did say a bunch of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, like, what does that mean? I love the fact that both of them was like, I don't know what that means. But he asks for his gun back. He gives the gun back. All the bullets are gone, which I thought was hilarious too. But anyway, that's some of the things I thought about that scene. Was there anything I missed or anything that kind of stood out to you?
What just stood out to me, just the interaction between those two. It goes back to what I said at the beginning from the first scene. It's Marvin's biggest fear.
Yeah.
Is that Juke is him. And that's the reason they had that conversation. I love the point that they even broached the subject of him asking, what is it? And she says, everything.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time, as we said last episode, Juke does this amazing job of lying about everything. Especially when it comes to her emotions. But this is the first time she's been vulnerable with Marvin to the extent of telling him, everything's bothering me.
Yeah.
Like, that was a powerful scene between a father and a daughter. And the realization that your kind of raised you, even though that's not what you ever wanted, it still happened. Yeah. And now what's the consequences of dealing with raising you?
Yeah.
Big the little fact. Sigh he gave. You saw the sigh he gave after he literally went, cocked the gun, the bullets was gone, but he gave a sigh. Like a sense of relief. It's different.
Either that, or I mean, it is. I think it's just this. Yeah, the moment of clarity where you're just like, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
Period. She let out the whole clip, and he probably thinking to himself like, yeah. And I would have did the same, or I did the same.
And that's what it was. He's probably she's telling you she uses this to blow off steam.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of steam to be blowing off, especially at that time of there. Like now, ain't no big thing if you go to a range, but she's out in the open, well, not the open, but a garage doing that with perfectly set up bottles of glass for her to shoot. Like,
Yeah.
but it's again, it's just that direction that he is terrified that Juke is going into because he sees himself.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So next, Lou in the studio, and this is him admitting that he can't tell if it's a good or bad thing, and he just want to find out who did this. It's the only way that's going to make things right. But Jessica's like, well, let me make you feel different, and yeah, of course, we did it. Hook up. Rock and Irwin, he's closing this shop, but he remains loyal to her. Says like, you know, I'm not ending my business relationship with you. I just don't want any more people to die. So what? He's about to relocate.
You have to do something.
Yeah, guess so.
Because he said he's very open that he's not stopping anything. Because out of fear of what that could do to his family.
Yep. So he gets it. Rob probably thinking to myself, like, finally somebody gets this shit.
Exactly. She spoke to David for 3 years and he still wouldn't have got it.
Yeah. So Juke is chilling up in her room and then think about you.
I'm trying to kind of figure out what song she was listening to in there.
Yeah.
It sounded very familiar.
But somebody is banging down the door. I knew it was Kanan, without a doubt. But Kanan rolls up and said, yeah, you serious about wanting to put in that work? And I mean, this was almost like a kid hearing the ice cream truck coming down the stairs. She was coming down the street. She was ready to go.
Ready to get them wrestling bars. She said, yes, let's go.
Now, this right here was completely hilarious. You know how people have passwords and their passwords are just password?
Which is,
and then,
yes.
Yeah, and then you get asked to change your password and then you just do password again?
Mm-hmm. That's what Marvin did. I know what you about to say.
Yep. He thought by moving the gun down, just one cushion over, two cushions over.
She won't be able to tell.
Oh, that was hilarious. And goddamn, was that on point. Oh, man, they nailed it on that one.
They didn't even attempt to think that Marvin would do something different. She lifted up that first pillow. Everyone knew that gun wasn't going to be there. I don't know how many people knew that gun was going to be under that second pillow, though.
Yeah, easiest bet of my life. But anyway, so yeah, they roll out. Marvin goes to see Early. He's frustrated about how the bookie stuff worked. Marvin wasn't tripping. Marvin was like, figure it out. Yeah. I don't know what this means for Early going next, but is it that he's not frustrated with the bookie business? So is he going to look for more money or something different? Does the loyalty shift? What does it mean? Unique is back on the board full-fledged? You know, what happens here with that? Do you have any predictions what happens with Early moving forward?
Eventually, I think he's just going to make a decision to go after that made man who owes him all that money. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's going to be his downfall.
Ooh, made man. Does that make him part of the families?
Yes. He said that this is a made man who says he's untouchable.
Oh, yeah. And you remember what Stefano said? This is your responsibility.
Yep.
So if you go after a made man, if I understand how the rule works, it's a body for a body, is it not?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, we even got to go by Marvin putting on the best look of the episode. Marvin had an amazing, London had an amazing episode as Martin. And I say it's Martin, it's Marvin in this episode. Where Early said it's a made man and I can collect the money, and Marvin like turned around and looked. Nigga, that's not my problem. He basically said, let me find out who problem this is. Because I know you ain't talking to me. Because clearly it's not my problem.
Yeah, wrong enough. It is his problem. Because everything he does is definitely
because if Early goes after a made man, Stefano would have to know. I was more surprised that Marvin didn't say, let me get to Stefano to find out what we're doing about this made man owing this much money. Instead is Oh, I can't. Ain't got nothing to do with me. It's your problem.
Yeah, we're gonna see how that plays out. So
Mhm.
Lou's back in the studio. Monty comes in. She's clearly feeling him, being all touchy-feely. But she sees the earrings, and why Lou says it's not his. We all knew who it was, and it was Jessica's chain and earrings. And yep, even with the good news of getting ready to set up a meet for a new artist, she let this sort of pleasure get in the way of business. Do you think she's going to derail all of the stuff that they're working together because of her own personal feelings, or can they keep them separate?
At this point, I'm not sure because this was insane. You mad? You show him your vinyl collection and slept with him. He never said y'all was a couple.
Yeah, where were you at for my boy for his boy funeral? You wasn't there.
Where's Shat? He says, she said, famous sister, your ex. How about we stop at the point that her brother died and he's close to Lou? And the reason she would be in the studio with him. Like, I swear, this scene perfectly encompasses.
Triggered you. Got it. Yeah, I heard you
ahead of time.
Yeah, it triggered you.
It just shows women. Like just one track mind. That's all she cared about was your ex was in here, not your ex who brother just got murdered and we just found him. We buried him a day ago, and she's there. Nah, it's just another bitch in the studio. And she left her chain in here. Like, come on, bro. This was a funny scene because of her overreaction to everything.
It's funny. Yeah, it's completely funny. But yeah, we'll see what happens with them going forward, man. That's 100% gonna be interesting to see. Can she divide now the business and pleasure and just keep it moving, or is she gonna be spite of this and try to mess up everything Lou has built? Yep. I think Lou is not going to let that happen. So because he understands that the business is more important as the record label owner. So we'll see. So Be Realer, he goes to see his baby mom and his daughter dropping off diapers, but that ain't good enough for her. Said, we need more than that. And he promises he's gonna take care of her and her daughter.
Finally, a calm baby mama at that.
Yeah.
She like, I ain't even yelling and screaming. I'm just I said, see, look how they bounce back. We just had one unreasonable woman and then a very, very reasonable one. Like, power does it all the time.
Yeah. All right, so probably the most exciting scene of this episode is we get Kanan and Juke scoping out four of what's his name? Freddie's friends on the basketball court, and they, Juke calling out a play about how they're gonna ambush them and whatnot. But before they even get there, Juke calling it out, saying we're going to do. Kanan's like stone cold Juke, and essentially just knowing like Juke really about this. She's actually getting kind of excited about this. But she even asked, "Do we know which one of them killed Fane?" Then fine, it's all of them. All of them got to go. She gets there, she does her thing, and interrogates them. Honestly, giving a little bit of a Joker performance to them, a little unhinged. Telling them to get on their knees. Yeah. Honestly, Punisher. It's literally the Punisher, and that's what the Punisher whole origin story is revenge for his wife and daughter, and this is just her revenge for her got famous. But with all that, as I mentioned, they claim the police did it. They give a very sort of convincing story because Kanan seems to have changed his mind, but Juke wasn't. Matter of fact, if the sirens wasn't in the back and they wasn't coming, Juke might have took one body just for the hell of it.
Way more. She said all of them had to go.
Yeah. I mean, she was ready. She was ready, but they said that they think the cops did it. And they also said that they not really holding Freddie down like that. He's done us wrong too.
Used to do
So Juke was just enjoying the hell out of this and was ready to come from everybody. And what was I gotta say, I haven't threw a wrestling reference in here. all day. Juke said, well, you know, if I find out you're lying, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. Your family, and we're coming for you.
I thought she was gonna give me the latest little joke, the Tiffany joke. You're like 0 for 3 outside the ring. Woo! And then you broke out.
I don't know if you want to add anything else on this scene or just get to the last two.
Oh no, this is
it's just to show you that
what we were talking about last episode of what effect would famous death have on who. And I said this could lead to Juke becoming the Juke that we know.
Yeah.
And boy, did it.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps you even. It's weird. And this is, I like correlations at times. They give you slightly with the original power. It gives you correlations of that relationship. Remember when Kanan was doing a run with the original Juke and power, and we saw how Juke was demanding on everything that she needed done? This is the first time you've seen that from Juke.
Okay.
Of that person coming out there. And Kanan having to be like, nah, we got to go. And Juke took that every last second to let them know.
Yeah.
If I got to come here, I'm taking your family out and you. And you 100% believe what Juke was saying.
I'll say this. If the cops did kill Famous, I can't quite see Juke being a cop. The forever resentment.
You never know. Because she knows that cops aren't always clean. To me, it actually pushes it to a window where you can think of being a cop as a play.
Yeah. Do you think the feds might have did this?
No, I think it's though. If we're gonna go with the dirty cops, it's those two cops. Those are the only dirty cops they've ever shown.
Were they actually cops?
Yeah, the ones who were harassing Rock, they were actual police officers.
They wasn't feds.
Yeah.
Because
no, they were regular beat cops, and they tried to make a deal with her, saying if you run, I
remember the ones that was stalking her at the door, and they just wore suits. I don't remember if they were cops or not.
No, not the ones that wore the suits. The ones they were in uniform when she first got the hair salon.
Oh, the one that just kept doing everything like in front of the shop and everything. Yeah,
and all her money and all that stuff. If Famous found out they were dirty, they would kill him.
Yeah.
And again, that's just too wild of a thing. And I think that's why Kanan believes him. Too wild of a story to make up.
Yeah.
That Fame was killed by dirty cops.
Yeah.
You could have named another person on the street instead of a dirty cop.
Yeah. All right, last two things now is He goes to this crystal shop and he meets up with this guy, and they are basically planning to rob Lowell for his money.
There you go.
Lou went to see Jessica. Jessica says, like, her and my mom, we're moving back to LA. We're leaving tomorrow. I mean, this truly feels like a very fitting and final goodbye to the Figueroa family. Even though I think that Famous is going to come back like Unique at the end of the season. But we'll see. And then the last thing is, well, you all have been trying to figure out when he was going to show up, and he finally did. Rock gets home and her back door is open. Now, let me ask you a question.
Hey, yo.
This could be three things right now. Mm-hmm. This could be Michael Myers.
Okay.
Yeah. This could be oh my God, why is his name Scream? What's his name? Ghostface, there you go.
Uh-huh.
Could be Ghostface. Or you could take the face off of it and it could just be Ghost. Finally appearing. Or is it Breeze? Because that's why the thing was moving. Because Breeze was walking through.
Well,
and that's how
we
he
know
comes
it was Unique, so we know it's not Breeze or Ghost.
No, but Unique is Breeze. Don't forget about that. Don't forget. I love the fact that Unique is so unique again that you got to kill that rumor now. Unique is not no damn Breeze.
But Breeze is young. here Unique does something that only old black people do. And Unique is at Rock's
Eating butter
refrigerator.
pecan ice
Butter
cream.
pecan
Gotcha.
ice cream. Only old black people eat butter pecan ice cream. Joe.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's the most disgusting ice cream I ever.
You're lying. You're crazy. I love butter pecan ice cream.
First time you're not allowed to call me Uncle Lou no more, and your ass up here eating butter pecan ice cream. Because that shit there. That joke come with a AARP card.
Rock sees Unique like he never left, and she looked like she's seen a ghost. Here's my thing: a conversation is going to need to be had here. That's how you kick off next week's episode, is them talking to iron things out. Before we end tonight, what do you think the first question is going to come from Unique? Because we know what Rock's question is going to be. I thought you were dead. What happened? How'd you get here? Why are you here?
It's going to be something in the lane of you tried to kill me from Unique. And that's going to throw Rock.
So you think his question is going to be something on the lines of like, so you thought you did me,
something of that nature.
Okay.
Just because, again, we're playing into the sense that Unique has a brain injury.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way he could think that Rock had anything to do with him dying or almost dying.
Yeah.
So we have to play into that and think that that's going to be the first thing he's going to ask her. Is about her trying to kill him. And then Rock's response to that is going to say a lot.
Yeah.
Because it also made me think of that picture we got last season at the end when we see Unique's face because he's standing up after looking over Ronnie's body. Do we now think that he believes that wasn't self-defense or whatever? It was Rock killing his brother after she tried to kill him.
Yeah.
And if that's his correlation to the change of events. Because that will be interesting to see what's going to happen. Plus, he gave up his element of surprise. He literally just said, I'm laying low. But when I come out, I'm going to need everybody. You just had it for less than 24 hours and you decided to do it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I have nothing else to say.
Big Gorilla finally got a hot song. That's the most important part of this. The song was slap. I understand why Lou didn't like it, but it was the third best power song behind Streets Need a Body, of course, which is number one. Butter and they little song they did at the concert in the mall, and then it's this one by B Rella. And then following last will be the Streets Need a Body remix.
What's the 411? What's the 411? What's the 411? You know, Famous just smash
from Onyx. Oh no, that's on ass too. I thought you were talking about the song from Onyx. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, what's the 411? I don't know why they picked that to be like the go single.
Me neither. But that's no here.
It's like when Nelly made "I Am Number One" and tried to make it a song that everybody would say. But nobody want to hear this shit.
It's not good.
You drop down to get the ego or something, dance or something. But yeah. Always forget about what that song by Famous. Yeah. R.I.P. Famous.
R.I.P. Famous, man.
You win some, lose some.
That's right. Well, that's do it for tonight. That was a interesting episode 6. After everything that happened with episode 5, and episode 6 is still ramping things up for so much more to come. Now that Unique has appeared to be alive, back to Rock, what does that mean, and where does that go? There's so many questions. I could probably spend another 10 minutes, putting all those questions together. But why, when we could just tune in next week when we're back for another recap review show here? Let us know in the comments your thoughts, your theories, your predictions for this episode and going into next week. And as always, we appreciate y'all watching and coming through, and we'll see y'all back in just 1 week. Thank you for watching, folks.